You are listening to Peak One Sports.
Welcome to the Bungalow Sports Show. We are back at it yet again. Sunday morning. It is in the 8 a.m. hour. And don't worry, it's only 81 degrees. But my app let me know that it feels like 97.
Yeah, when I got out of my car, it felt like I put a blanket on.
Yeah, it's been hot, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm glad this is a morning show.
What did we hit, like 108 yesterday? This would have been Saturday for all you.
Yesterday, I'm not sure something like that. But then the day before that, it was like 114, and then the day before that, it was like one. Yeah. It's been hot. Then
ACs are running.
And for those of you who don't live in California and think we're over here just at the beach chilling out, letting our hair blow in the wind, nah, we live in a bowl of dirt. Yeah. We live in a dry bowl of dirt here, me and Joey, and it's just the way we like it, okay? We're a couple little dirt nuggets. And it's been hot as a mofo, dude. It's so funny. Alexis has been like, dude, it's so fucking hot. And I'm like, oh, where do you live? San Diego? Shut up. I'm like, how hot is it, bitch? And he's like, it's 87. And I'm like, he's like, I know it's hotter there. I'm like, hotter there? It's 114 degrees, motherfucker.
Right. It's not like you can just jump in the ocean whenever you want,
I mean, I guess, like, heat is one of the temperature. It's like relative. Like if you constantly live in, it's like I used to have neighbors that were from the UK, and
it's a bit hot out here.
When it was like 79, they'd be out in bathing suits and stuff.
Oh my god.
Well, because they're used to it just being cloudy, gloomy, and cold as shit all the time.
Right.
And then they'd come to Manteca, and it was like April. You know what I mean? It's like 81 today, and they're out in lawn chairs and bathing suits and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, dude, this is cold.
And by the way, like, what has like worse terrain than I feel like the UK? You know what I mean? It's like full of marshes and like
right. That's what I mean.
It rains all the time, so it's humid and shit. Like
right, it's humid and cold and wet and damp and werewolves.
I've never been without werewolves.
So yeah, that's the kind of hot sports takes you get on this show. It's hot.
It's hot out of here.
That's why they don't play sports in the summer.
Yeah, that's a good idea, except for baseball. But that's not a sport.
Yeah, I don't even know why you keep bringing that up. They canceled baseball a long time ago.
I just like to keep.
You like nostalgia?
I just like to keep bringing it up so that the viewers know.
Right. Yeah, Babe Ruth was out there playing
Who's
in the
that?
heat. You know what I mean?
The great.
But it's global warming, though, dude. So, like, back then, it wasn't as hot in the summer.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Haven't they said, like, it's this year, the globe is, like, it's, like, 3 degrees or 2 degrees or something like that?
It could have been. I don't know, dude. I mean, how big is the ice up there,
Yeah. Pretty soon, we're all going to be living in Minnesota, bro. Because it's going to be the only place that's habitable,
dude. I heard they have like a plagues of fucking mosquito. There goes the plagues of mosquitoes, dude.
Yeah,
I heard it's really bad over there
in Minnesota.
Yeah,
specifically.
Yeah, because it's like doesn't it get humid over there and stuff?
Well, Minnesota,
and so like they thrive in that environment.
Really, Minnesota's humid?
That's what I thought. It's like because it's not. I mean, okay, it's been a long time since I've taken geography, but pretty sure it's like it's
where? It's right there. It's right next to Canada.
No, it's not.
Minnesota, the North Stars.
I didn't think
Minnesota is on the border of Canada.
I didn't think that the Minnesota was on the border. Isn't it Wyoming, Montana? No, Wisconsin, Montana. No, Montana, Wisconsin. And then,
should I bring up a graphic of the United States?
It's so fast.
Minnesota. Woo! Yeah, that's definitely a. Didn't seem like.
I just heard the mosquitoes were really bad over there.
heard
That's the basic.
In what, like in the summertime?
Yeah, I just heard it was really bad. Like people get it kills like if you have a picnic outside and stuff. You know what I mean? Like it's so bad that it kills parties.
You're in a lot of Minnesota forums.
Yeah, I like to stay updated.
I don't know. A lot of those states that get super cold in the wintertime, you know, like they do have weird summers. So
yeah. Well, like we were talking about Chicago because I started watching that show, Windy City Rehab or something like that. It's on HBO Max.
Okay.
Shout out to my girl Allison. She buys homes, right, and flips them. Pretty much, that's it.
I thought they were just picking up drug addicts on the street and trying to clean them up.
No, dude, no.
It's like a new
complete opposite. She's like
of intervention.
No. She goes and like gentrifies an area. It's hilarious.
She goes and she gets the drug addicts out one way or another.
Yeah, dude. Like she turned this like $700,000 house into like a $1.3 million home. You know what I mean? It was crazy.
You know,
and she
like
said
those
patina?
are big numbers. You said,
yeah,
but it's like. This is a $600,000 profit, bro.
No, it wasn't because of how much they had to put into it. That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. So that's not a lot.
So she did. One of the homes that she picked up was $800,000, right?
Okay.
And then she was shooting for a $1.3 million sale. However, she had to put like $300,000 into it. So by the time she was done, she netted like a $200,000 profit.
Yeah, I mean that's a lot of money, but like, yeah, no, that's people think.
I mean, it's a lot, but
people think. Okay, because I'm going to let you in on a little secret here, Joseph.
Hit me with it. Well, you're in this trade, right?
Well, pretty much, because that's like most of my customers are house flippers,
yeah,
remodeler types. People think that guys and gals are out there just making money hand over fist, which in the grand scheme of things in the law, like I've had customers that have been flipping houses for a decade now, you know what I mean? So it's like back from when they started to now, you see how you make money. The money isn't, we're going to sell this thing, we're going to make a $200,000 profit. These people are making between 10 and like 30 grand per house, which that's a fucking year's salary for a lot of people.
That's a year.
But it's the longevity of that because then in California, I don't know about other states, but there's like financial rules where if you roll that profit into another property, you don't have to pay taxes on it. Right?
Yeah.
So it's behoove you
tax loopholes
to
dude.
keep like my sister and her as my neighbor, my 90-year-old neighbor Bob would call him a live-in because they're not married and they're too old to be boyfriend and girlfriend. He says, my daughter's, that's what he says. My daughter and her live-in are coming.
Oh, shit.
And I'm like, you mean like her, what can we call it
other?
something else? Like, they've been together for like 30 years.
No, he like demeans it.
Her live-in. I'm like, can't you just call him Fred? Or my sister and her live-in. They're not like house flippers.
It's just called by his name.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We'll live in. But like they're not house flippers. They've got a couple properties or they rent it out to like traveling nurses because that's become a huge economy since COVID because they were having to bring in people from all over the country to do shifts at different hospitals because they were short staffed, people getting COVID, you know, blah, blah, blah. And it's just kind of nursing is becoming like other than your run-of-the-mill nurse that's at the hospital, like a lot of like specialty nurses and things like that are becoming like there's people that don't even live around here and they come here and they rent a house, they do a contract.
Yeah.
Right? So they'll just come here and they'll be here for 3 months and then they'll bounce to go to a different hospital or whatever.
Right.
But because they bought houses and like remodeled them to rent out, like the first one they did, like it was like, oh shit, it was like they just went and got another one because otherwise they would have had to pay taxes because they bought one and sold it. The first one they did, they thought they were going to start flipping, and then they got this idea of the renting out, and they was like, okay, so we just got to take this and we got to put it into another property and put it into another property, otherwise you're paying a shitload of taxes on it. But this is a tax 101. Don't talk to me about financial stuff. Like I don't even like money. You know what I mean? I like sports and music and cool stuff. Like I fucking hate money, dude. Like I know everybody's out there like get that, like Joey. He's like, get that bag, bro. Get that bag.
No.
Take that Saudi money. You know what I mean? And all that stuff. That I ain't about that life. I hate money. If I would love, but maybe it's because I have like a direct skill and like trade that I just make money. That's what I make money on is this trade that I have, and I could.
So you have knowledge.
I could barter that with or without a monetary system.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like since I'm already kind of in that position, ready for the collapse, like I'm just like, fuck money. What do we need money for?
Right.
Like let's just go back to the bartering
system. Yeah,
it'll make people much happier. But then the problem with the barter system is like, well, where do you get your raw materials? You can't do that anymore.
No, you
know
cultivate.
what I mean?
That's the whole thing. So like I watched something. So like I saw a video on TikTok where a young man traded a sack of beans for like 3 pads of tofu. You know?
Sure,
what I
but
mean?
I'm talking about in my specific skill. It's like, where am I going to get glass products and windows?
Yeah, that's true.
I'm like barter. I'm sucking dudes off at the window company.
I was just thinking you'd like raise a goat, but or you can do that too.
Trading goats or sucking off.
Like I got two goats. All right, they'll last you for about 5 years. You know what I mean? At the end, they'll be nice meats. You know what I mean? Until then, you got goat milk and goat cheese.
Yeah. So
and he'll eat everything.
Can't go back to the barter system. I take that back. I need money.
Yeah, there you go. Dude, which, I don't know if we talked about it, but Rory McIlroy, you know, he came out and he said that he would rather he'd rather retire before going to play for
that Saudi money.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. Rory's my boy, dude.
I am a real American.
I had a lot of people getting on him for acting like a little victim and stuff, but I'm just like, yeah, the guy's got gajillions of dollars, right?
Yeah.
I get that. Let's take all the money out of this situation and just make it a complete moral stance. Leave the motherfucker alone. He was trying to make a moral stance, and now everybody's talking shit like he's trying to be some kind of a victim or something. It's like, well, they told him one thing and then did the exact opposite behind his back while he was out there representing the one thing they told him. So of all the people who have a gripe with the PGA and this whole thing, it should be Rory. Because they let him get out there as like the face of this anti-whatever when they were behind the scenes doing exactly what they told him. Yeah, that's what we said.
They like armed him. Like he was the front runner of it.
Right. And now he's, you know,
left him in the dust.
But he's, you know what? That guy's got to win a major, dude. He hasn't won a major in so long.
Maybe if he took that Saudi money, dude.
Oh, Rory. So have you seen this story? This isn't sports related, but this is just something that it's always interesting to me when people do shit like this. That, Carly something, this girl that faked her own kidnapping. Have you seen this?
No, I haven't.
So last week, so there's this girl reported missing, right? Like I think her boyfriend, family, whatever, reported her missing. And there's like video surveillance and all this stuff of her like last moments or whatever. She made a 911 call saying that there was a baby in a diaper walking down the highway. Like,
interesting.
And then she disappears, right? She's gone for a few days or some shit. I forgot already how long she was gone for. And they're looking for her. She's kidnapped, blah, 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 blah. And then a couple days ago, she comes walking out of the woods. You know what I mean?
How old is she?
Tattered and torn. She's like in her 20s, I think.
Okay.
Maybe 30s. I know a lot of... See, I got the facts here. But it doesn't matter because she's a piece of shit because she faked her own kidnapping, right? And like... They're piecing it all back together, right? And it's just like, okay, they got video surveillance of her buying snacks and beverages.
Really?
And then you get the 911 call of a baby walking down, and then she just disappears, right? And the cops go out and investigate the baby call. They do no baby. There's no nothing. Nobody else called in a baby. Nothing like that. And then, yeah, you know, she shows up saying that she was captured by a red-haired man and a woman, and she never saw the woman, and they kept her and took pictures, a bunch of, you know, kidnapper type shit. But she faked the whole thing, right? And so like the baby thing was a decoy, right? Because then she came out and she's like, yeah, I called about the baby and I pulled over to go help the baby, and as soon as I went up to it, then they came out and it was like a decoy. Like they came out and they kidnapped me and all this stuff. You know what I mean?
I was wondering how that was connected.
Right.
Yeah. She's like a Jessie Smollett, dude.
Yeah, it's like that same, and she's a lady of color, so it's, you know, I don't even know what to say anymore. I saw like there's a congressman like last week that said in his speech he got mixed up and said, he goes, you got to say people of color. Yeah, you can't flip those two words around and say you can't colored people, because then that's a big no. Like what? It sucks when language is that. You're teetering on the verge of racism and correctness, with just switching to the same words. Just switching around, and this guy obviously did that in his head when he's reading it off his stupid papers trying to make
can't
it
say that anymore.
And now he's, the most racist guy in the world
Well,
and all
like,
this
yeah.
stuff. And it's like, motherfucker, like, I don't want to defend anybody because I don't know what's in anybody's head. But it's like, this guy obviously flipped the words, had a little dyslexia moment and flipped people of color to colored people on the page. Yeah, so it always gets me thinking anytime people fake this type of stuff.
Right.
Like, obviously, the Smollett thing was insane with the noose and all that stuff. But in RL, because I've seen a ton of them, I'm sure you've seen a ton of kidnapping movies. Like, what would be your move if you got, like, legit snatched up, kidnapped, like, adult style? So, like, you're on the road, you're just walking down the street, black van pulls up, puts a bag over your head, pulls you back into the van, and they take you, to an undisclosed location. And they, you're tied to a chair. Or
okay,
like
so
that.
I'm already captured. Like, not even like.
Well, let's
what
go
would
through
I
the
do
whole
if
thing.
they? Okay,
like you get pulled in. Man, you're a big guy, so like they'd have to have like the Mountain from Game of Thrones or something like subdue you. But they get you into the van, right?
Okay.
And you're like, once you're in there, they've got guns pointed at you, so it's not like you're like gonna start throwing punches. Cause
no, but I definitely talk shit though.
Well, that's what I think. What would be your move? Would you like try to pretend like Stockholm syndrome is? See, that would be my thing.
Yeah,
I would pretend like, oh yeah, I want to be a part of this. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And I would try to manipulate my way out of the situation.
Yeah.
What would you do? You wouldn't be able to keep yourself from talking shit.
I'm gonna be honest. I'd be scared shitless at first.
Okay.
Right, but then like I feel like they take. So I'm in the van. They take the bag off. Right.
Okay.
They're like, guns pointed at you and shit. I feel like I just start talking shit. I mean, if the guns are pointed at you already, there's a solid chance that you're not getting out, right?
Well, I mean, they kidnapped you rather than just shot you on the side of the road. So obviously they're trying to. But
my family does not have money, so it's like
they're trying to get at that Foster trust fund, dude.
They're like, I know you go for the Bungalow Sports Show.
Yeah.
Have the suits kick down the money.
That's right. You're right.
Yeah, dude.
We know you got connection to the suits.
Yeah.
The suits will do anything to keep you alive.
3 months free subscription to Betalytics.
They need you guys to pay off that home run derby, so they'll do anything to get you out of here.
It's been 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Where's the video?
It's Betalytics kidnapped you. Yeah. The guys from Betalytics kidnapped you to stop you from doing commercials anymore.
Yeah.
You're hurting our business.
We're dropping it from 25 to 15%.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's there's a show.
I'm not to cut you off, but I'm very quick to accept what's going on around me.
Uh-huh.
And
that's what I'm saying. You wouldn't
like,
Stockholm syndrome,
I mean, it's like
I'm part of your group now.
Well, it's like in my training, right? In my training,
in my anti-kidnap training.
My first thing would be to try to fight back, okay? Because there's nothing you can do, right?
Sure.
That's what they say is like you find a place, right? If like during like a shooting situation, right? It's like you find cover, right? And if not, if your last resort is to fight. So if I'm already got guns pointed at me, I'm not expecting anybody to come rescue me or anything like that.
Well, see, I get a little more. I've watched so many fictional and non-fictional like crime series and like profiling of criminals that in the grand it generally kidnappers to me aren't murderers, right? There's a line that has to be crossed, right? And people who are willing to kidnap aren't necessarily willing to murder, right?
I think it just depends on who's doing the kidnapping.
Well, of course, but I'm saying in general, it's a way different. It's a way different crime.
Yeah.
Right. So just because they got guns pointed at you doesn't mean that they will and or want to even kill you. They're trying to get at something else, right? Because although if they just wanted to kill you, they would have killed you already.
I think what it comes down to is two things. It's like, is it a Bungalow Sports Show fan that kidnaps us? Because if that happens, there's a very slim chance of us dying. However, if it's the cartel that picks us up,
if they're like obsessed with you,
they want to wear our skin,
right?
Yeah.
No, the cartels they're not doing anything that's not money related or retaliation. So what did you do to piss off the cartel, Joey? Betting? You got into some gambling trouble?
I've been World Poker Tour has been
Joey
on my...
Joey can't answer this question without like a specific why am I being kidnapped. See, me, I just go straight into the just like I feel like I'm smarter than everybody, so I will just immediately start trying to manipulate the situation, right? Because I'm like, if you're stupid enough to kidnap someone, I'm obviously smarter than you. So let me ingratiate myself to you. Let me let you get your guard down, and then that's how I work it. I'm like, I'll sit in here for 6 or 9 months.
Yeah.
And I'll just keep, you'll come in. You won't even be like chaining me up anymore. I'll be making breakfast for the kidnappers.
Then they come back in the morning. You're like, hey, fellas, how's it going?
Sucking them off at night, keeping them happy. You know what I mean?
Blueberry waffles, chocolate chip right there. Yeah.
Give it a good 18 months. They're really unsuspecting. Andy's grown up. He's out of the house.
Yeah.
And then I make my move.
Just fucking slit throats, huh?
No, I just walk out the door. Oh. Because by then they'll let me go to the grocery store and shit. Like I'll see Paris at the grocery store. You know what I mean? And like, she's like, Cole? And I'm like, hey. She's like,
what kind of clothes are you wearing? Do you have like real clothes, or you have like tattered?
At this point,
tattered?
Yeah, no,
or they let you get 501s like button fly.
Oh, I mean, no, they're getting me whatever I want.
Oh wow,
yeah, you know what that mount do, baby. You know what I'm saying? Like
Abercrombie Fitch, yeah.
Does Abercrombie even exist anymore?
I'm pretty sure it does, doesn't it? Yeah.
Hollister. No, I've got like Gucci on.
Oh shit.
Yeah, no, I'm making them. They're spending all their ransom money on my wardrobe.
I was gonna say they're kidnapping more kids or people just to pay for you.
I've got VR headsets.
They're like, well, dude, this guy's so fucking valuable.
Yeah, this guy's so cool, dude. We kidnapped the right guy. Anyways, yeah, don't fake your own kidnapping. If you're gonna do it, like fake your own death. I think about that all the time. Like, how would I fake my own death? Mm-hmm. Like, I think, because like there's a lot of ways to go about it, but I feel like there's so many ways that people would just figure it out.
What would you do if you got kidnapped by the government?
Huh.
Like, what if we started releasing secrets on here that we know, and then like.
Well, I think if you're kidnapped by the government, you're fucked, right? Because they're just putting you in Guantanamo Bay or some kind of secret prison.
No, but like, what would you do on the way there? Would you try manipulating your way out? Because I don't think that would work. Do you just start talking shit immediately?
They don't care. So like,
bitch, I pay your fucking salary. Why are you kidnapping me?
Being kidnapped by like a criminal that just wants a ransom or whatever else, it's a lot different. You get kidnapped by the government, you're getting kidnapped by agents of whatever government organization. Mm-hmm. There's no manipulating that because it's just they're just doing their job.
Scenario. Cole, we have it on good authority that you know the security codes to this special hard drive, and it has all the nuclear bombs in the world, and they're all going to go off in 3 hours if you don't give us the code. Give us the code.
Why do I just have the code?
Because you have the code. We have it on good authority that you have the code. But they should
have the code too.
No, we don't have the code. It's your device. You tell us.
Here, I don't want to die.
What? So you have the codes? You just have the code? Are you just going to write random numbers on there?
Well, so I don't have the codes? Really?
I'm asking if you have the codes or not.
Well, no.
Why not?
Because this is the craziest scenario of all time.
They have it on good authority that you have the codes. Now, do you or do you not have the codes?
No, I don't.
Give us the codes, Cole.
I don't have the code.
Okay, get the those.
But I don't have the codes.
Well, we're gonna find out pretty soon.
They're gonna break out the GIMP.
They're gonna break
like in Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, dude. They're gonna break out the fucking battery and yeah, come on, dude. They're gonna torture you until you give them the codes, dude. Until you're finally like just like 5. I mean, like it's a 6-digit.
Yeah,
it's a 6-digit. You're like just 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah. The government's in trouble, dude, if they try to get some information out of me. Yeah. I got no information. I don't even have enough sports information to put a show together. All right, moving on to sports. Women's World Cup kicks off this week. Speaking of the U.S., got clamping nipples, kicking soccer balls. Uh-oh. Women kick off the World Cup. 3-0 victory over Vietnam. Back in country.
USA.
They just had to get it again.
They
Vietnam.
did, bro. Yep.
Well, we kind of lost that.
Yeah.
I mean,
it has an asterisk next to it.
We pulled out before. So like, I love how like we can just have we technically didn't lose that. One, we didn't lose the war, okay, because it wasn't a war; it was a police action, okay.
Okay.
It wasn't an actual war declared by Congress, so we didn't lose. And then we chose to pull out of there.
Yeah.
But
we suffered too many casualties.
Right. Don't say that, bro.
Oh, sorry.
We had them right where they wanted us.
Yeah.
We didn't want to kill any more innocent people.
That's what it was.
We didn't lose. We don't lose Vietnam. Ask Forrest Gump, dude.
Yeah.
We lost that shit.
Well, according to Forrest Gump, we won, dude. You know.
Well, I mean, he won.
Yeah,
he won in life.
He did. He
you
did
know
win.
what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, Vietnam versus the U.S. We smashed them
3-0.
People are all up in arms about how the women's team, what they were doing during the national anthem.
What were they doing? I didn't.
Not singing it, and people seem to feel like that's disrespectful because, like, you know, all these other countries are out there singing their national anthem because, you know, they play it before the games or whatever. There was a couple girls singing it, but a couple girls not singing it.
Yeah.
A couple girls with their hands behind their back rather than
Have they watched
over their
hockey
heart.
players? Half the hockey players don't even know the national anthem.
Everybody, whether it's fucking the left or the right, they just gotta find something to be pissed off about. And the right already hates
that it's women
soccer because if they're all lesbians and they hate Megan Rapinoe or whatever, because of her political.
Isn't it Rapinoe?
Rapinoe, whatever. She retired. She doesn't matter anymore. But this is just digging for something to be pissed off about. It's like who got the memo saying you had to sing along to the national anthem?
Right.
Unless you're singing it, like me and Joey belted out on 4th of July.
Right.
Like, why are you more patriotic because you're standing there mouthing it?
Right.
You know what I mean? And, like, look at, like, just trying to, like, why weren't they doing it? They're making a statement and all this stuff. And it's just like, okay, but they didn't say they were doing this for this reason.
Right.
You're just saying and whether they are or not, everyone has personal freedom to think or do whatever the fuck they want to do.
Yeah, man.
But it's not like they were out there, you know, they didn't show up for it, or it's not like they, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like,
it's not like they were kneeling down or something, or, you know.
You better not kneel, bro.
No, it's just, it's so weird, dude, because, I mean, look, I think it's one of the most beautiful songs ever written, right? So,
sure,
like, I would be,
it?
Please.
Right.
I'd be out there, be like, freaking, right? I'd have, like, finger in the ear type shit. But, you know,
that
that's
almost
just me.
To me is more disrespectful.
You think so?
Because you're interrupting the goddamn song.
No, you know what I would do? I would take the mic out of the young lady's hand that was singing.
Yeah.
And I'd just be like, I got it.
I got it.
But
anyways, it's like, can't we just have sports?
Yeah.
Like, why do we got to make this a political thing?
It's everything,
right out
dude.
the gate before the World Cup even starts.
Already, women's team sparks controversy.
And now they're like, what's going to happen before the next game when they play it? And it's just like, who gives a fuck? We're here for the game, not the song.
You know what I would love is if they're playing it, but instead of mouthing the words to that, they're mouthing words to my neck, my back, my pussy, and my crack.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. yeah. Or there's like, park that thing right in this little garage. You know, it's
Once
like,
upon a time, not long ago, I was a hoe. You
yeah,
know what I mean?
it's just, let's get real America out here.
Yeah, dude.
Let's get a real song. And then they'll get into it.
Yeah.
Call me maybe. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Get some Carly Rae Jepsen in that
Hell
bitch.
yeah.
All right, but moving on to Wednesday, they got the Netherlands coming up. Going to be a tough game. Netherlands always a tough out, whether it's women or men. Rooting for the old US of A. Love the Women's World Cup. You want to know? So if you're like one of these people who's like,
get them and their windmills out of here, dude.
or just like, women's sports suck, bro. Like, you want to know a reason to like women's soccer more than men's soccer?
Oh, they're so much more aggressive.
And they dive way less.
Oh, yeah.
You know, they're more aggressive because they know there's not going to be, like, the men's soccer is not aggressive because as soon as you touch someone, they're like, ah!
No, yeah, anybody who watches soccer will tell you that it's much more.
Because they don't dive.
Yeah,
and I don't know if that's because they have something more to prove as women. They want to be like, oh, motherfucker, like, we're tough too or whatever. Look at these dudes out here flopping around, you know what I mean, on their nuts. And then, you know, we're out here, we're showing our labia, dude, and they, you know what I mean? Like, we're getting out here and we'll show you what this labia is all about.
Okay.
You know?
This is gonna have a lot of bleeps in it, dude.
Nah, we're not monetized yet.
Nah.
What's wrong with labia, dude? That's not a cuss word.
No, it's just a lot, you know.
Yeah, but it's like it's.
Are we talking menorah or majora?
Majora, dude. We're talking about those meat curtains.
That much.
We're talking about the bat wings. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
Pull them out and float down a building like Batman, dude.
This is a good segue into
football news. Dun, 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 dun.
I was gonna do an ad, but
oh yeah, we still haven't done the ads. All right. If your labia likes to bet, or your foreskin, if you still got it,
Yeah, if you still got it.
go to betalytics.com, make a profile.
Promo code PEAK1.
Pick one, 25% off. I took the extra D off of our show rundown, so Joey couldn't make fun of my spelling anymore.
It was pretty funny.
But yeah, 25% off Betalytics account. They've got all your stats and your AI projections and things like that.
Hockey, soccer, baseball, football, basketball. That was the other one.
Yeah, they're ready to go. You know what I mean?
They even have baseball.
None of those are happening right now.
No, just
not even baseball.
Not even baseball's happening.
No.
Yeah, they canceled that shit.
But you know, once sports start again, we're almost there. Football's almost back.
Yeah.
You can bet on and be educated about what you're betting on. Leagueswipe.com. It's getting close. My draft is getting close. I was powwowing this week with the suits at Peak One about our league, our network fantasy league. We're gonna get that going here.
You guys don't want it. Kickers are going in the second round, buddy. Defense is going in the first.
Yeah. So yeah, get leagueswipe.com if you're a commissioner and it gets hectic. You got a big league. You got a bunch of hotheads in your league. You got a bunch of non-payers. You got a bunch of people who are just always bitching about the construction and the details of the league. LeagueSwipe can help you out with spreadsheets and all that kind of fancy shit.
Because you know what happens, dude? When it's easier to navigate the spreadsheet, it's easier for you to spread cheeks
or labia.
Mm-hmm.
All right, but yeah, so you got your drafts coming up, which brings us into football news. Which this is a big thing when it is going to have a big effect on the fantasy drafts out there. Is that the NFL? I guess they don't need running backs anymore.
Nope.
They're just not paying running backs.
I want to go on record. I've always thought it was a useless position.
Whoa, dude, you're going that route, huh?
I just want to say
anti-RB.
Anti-RB, dude.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Well,
so running backs right now, it's a hairy position. It's always been one of those things where it's like injury prone, short career length, right? Because you're taking big hits every play when you're a running back, whether you're blocking or you're getting the ball or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not long. Longevity is not a word you use when it comes to a career at running back, right?
Yeah.
So, and the way contracts work in the NFL, this is if you really want to know about contracts, go watch Sports Biz. They know
baby.
more. But for my cursory, degenerate sports fandom, just paying attention to all this stuff, football, you get your rookie deal. All these guys are playing for their second deal.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You come into the league, usually it's a 3-year rookie contract is what most players are signed, drafted players are signed to. So that whole 3 years, you're trying to get up the merit to get that big contract on the second one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Problem with running backs is nowadays 3 years, 4 years,
that's a long time.
That's about a whole career for some of these guys, right? So then by the time they get to that second contract, either they're on the back end of the age range of a guy you want, I want to sign this guy for 3 or 5 more years because by the time this contract's over, I'm paying him how much ever a year. And he's not going to be produced. It's all logistics. I get it. It's business. It's money. It just sucks for the running backs. But right now, I mean, as it pertains to fantasy drafts in particular, I've been thinking about this all week because there's this guy Renato at my shower door supplier, and we powwow in his cubicle about fantasy sports almost on a daily basis. And we were kind of breaking down this running back situation, right?
Yeah.
It's very interesting because you've got Saquon Barkley, you've got Josh Jacobs, you've got a handful of the best running backs in the league, right? That are literally going to say they're going to sit out this season. Because they're not getting contracts, right? They're either getting franchise tagged and then not getting negotiated on the back end of that, or they haven't even been offered contracts yet, extensions, what have you. So they're already sitting out mini camps, they're already sitting out training camps, and they're talking about sitting out seasons, right? Which I get the concept of it. We're in a strike society, obviously, right? People are wanting to get the money that they're worth. But in sports in general, professional sports, short shelf life, unless you're like an elite. And then also, running back specifically, even shorter shelf life. So it's like you're going to sit out a whole year to get money that next year you're hoping by sitting out will get you that money because they'll see how much they miss you or need you. Mm-hmm. But next year you're just going to be a year older.
Right.
You're just going to be, you know what I mean?
And so now you're going to be like even out of practice.
So
or,
it's, I mean, I guess they can keep training, keep practicing,
keep training,
and stuff
but
like
it's
that.
not the same, you know.
But it's such a weird scenario.
What are they going to do? Go play arena football?
But they can't because they're still most of them are still technically under contract. They're just not getting their extensions, or they're not getting, you know, they're put on a franchise
Maybe
tag.
Live Golf should start a football, so you know.
That's coming. But it's like, so it's just like a real tricky situation where you got these elite running backs that are on teams that are going to be sitting out, but then you have a few other names floating around out there, elite running backs that are free agents right now that don't have a team.
Oh wow!
Right? Yeah. So you go into this fantasy draft, and in a weird, it's kind of a weird microcosm because like in a world where you've got a bunch of these you know, the main running backs that would be getting drafted, you got them saying right now in July, August that they might sit out. They might do this. They might miss some games. They might do this. So you're like, fuck. So usually you'd say, I'm going to pick up that guy's backup.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. But in this weird scenario this year, you've got a bunch of elite running backs, Ezekiel Elliott, Derrick Henry, a lot of guys that are just free agents. Right? So they're sitting on a free agents list with no team. You got these guys who are going to sit out who are already on teams. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of these free agents who may not have been picked up or may not have been as valuable, they're going to get picked up real quick if these guys who are going to say they're going to sit out are going to sit out. And then you've got your Ezekiel Elliott's, these guys who may not have been drafted in the fantasy leagues because they're kind of, we don't even know what team they're going to end up, where they're going to end up, if they're going to play this season. Oh, no, I'd pick them up because week 1 or 2 when, you know, whoever, the Giants, don't have Saquon Barkley out there to help, help Danny Dimes move the ball down the field, they're going to realize that they need somebody, so then they're going to go pick up Ezekiel Elliott or a Derrick Henry or somebody like that.
You know what's weird is I always try to put myself in that position of like, obviously for people like us, right, normal people, you want to go where the money's at, right? So like you would want to get more and more money. But
yeah, in that situation,
when you're working as, you know, a professional in that sport and you're making millions and millions of dollars, right? Wouldn't, like, you're doing that because of the love of the game.
Well, not necessarily.
So wouldn't you take
because this goes back to the Nikola Jokic.
Yeah.
It's a job in the end.
That's true. Yeah.
It's the only job they've ever had. I'm a glass guy. It's pretty much the only job I've ever had. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So if, like, all of a sudden somebody put a cap on what I could make, my thought process would immediately go to, oh, fuck, should I find another job? Another line of work? You know what I mean? Or should I just, for the love of the game, keep
Well, there are jobs that do that, though, where cap you out, where that's all you're going to go up to, you know?
Right, but so you're also not getting your face smashed in every single play and putting your, you know, I can be a glass man for 30 years. These guys can be a running back for 4. You know what I mean? So it's like there is a small window to make as much money as you possibly can, right? If that's what I'm saying. It's like a double-edged sword. It's like I get from a financial business side why these guys aren't getting signed because of the longevity, because of the injury. I mean, look at Saquon Barkley, possibly the best skill-wise best running back in the league, with what he gives to his team and how his team performs when he's out there. Most valuable probably in the league. But he doesn't play full seasons. He gets injured.
Yeah. So
there's got to be a line somewhere for the owners, for the organization of like, do we sign Saquon Barkley? Because if you sign him, got to give him a shitload of money, right? Because he's Saquon Barkley. Right? But, like, is it worth it? Can we get by with 2 or 3 decent running backs that we just trade out every play? You know what I mean? That so they don't get tired, so they don't get hurt. You know what I mean? And you're just cycling 2 or 3 running backs rather than having this one guy carry the torch.
And it might even be cheaper to have 2 than one.
It is, and that's why what's happening is happening because for a long time, like
capitalism, baby.
Well, in fantasy sports, just because I've been playing for so long, there's it goes in cycles of who the most important player on like draft wise is, right? It was quarterbacks for at the beginning, like 12 years ago.
Right.
It was running backs after that. Now it's wide receivers, or maybe it's going to be something different this season.
Kickers.
I don't know. Yeah.
Adam Vinatieri. No, I'm just kidding.
So it's like it goes in cycles on what, because the NFL changes and how they play, you know what I mean? And like, yeah, I don't know. It's just these running backs. I just think there's going to be a lot of running back movement, and if your drafts are coming up real soon, you got a lot of decisions to make.
You know where my hate for the running backs comes from?
What?
I was playing Madden 2006.
Okay.
And I had the Seattle Seahawks, and I was playing against the Patriots for the ship.
Uh-huh.
And the probably like the best running back in 2006, or one of at least, was Sean Alexander.
Sure.
Threw a pass to him, dropped it.
Well, he's not a receiver, bro, so that's your problem.
But he cost me my ship, dude.
Should have thrown it to somebody who catches the ball. The Jets have been forced into doing Hard Knocks this year.
Oh, they finally forced them, huh?
I don't know. Yeah, so like that's the thing with Hard Knocks is like the bottom like 4 teams in the league, I think, at the end of the season, they like usually like the rule used to be is like you can't say no. If you're a bottom 4 team, we get to tell you if you're going to do Hard Knocks or not.
What is Hard Knocks?
HBO's like it's 4 episodes, so it's 4 weeks of basically mini docs of the training camp of the team that is in question, right?
Gotcha.
But so throughout Hard Knocks, since I think the Patriots might have done it in the very beginning, like 10 or 12 years ago.
What I think it was the Cowboys, didn't the Cowboys or the Raiders too?
Cowboys have done it. The Raiders did it the year they picked up Antonio Brown, and then he never even played for them. It's always been struggling teams usually that end up on this show. Jets obviously a struggling team, and obviously the one everybody wants to see because they got Aaron Rodgers. Everyone wants to see the behind the scenes, how that's going to go, and he's a character, you know what I mean? And it should be interesting, but also when you're a team that's trying to rebuild or trying to like, you don't want that.
You don't want
shit.
everybody to see,
and not even see. It's just a distraction. It's an extra distraction,
right?
During the training camp, during arguably the most important part of like you're putting your team together,
right?
So the Jets nobody wanted it, obviously, but the NFL wanted it to be the Jets because of the Aaron Rodgers situation, and the NFL gets their way always. So we are going to get Hard Knocks with the Jets. The Jets had it before a long time ago. I remember that season because Antonio Cromartie was on there talking, like he has like 19 kids or some shit like that. And like,
oh wow!
Like if groups of 4 have like the same birthday, because there's so many different mothers and shit.
Right.
So it's like he's on there. It's like I got this one and this one and this one and this one and this one's 5 and this one's 5 3/4 and but so they've been on there before, but they've sucked for so long. Like, it is what it is. I always love that show. The one part they're cutting out, though, that is usually like, because I'm a masochist, my favorite part is the cuts.
Oh, really?
When they cut the players.
Uh-huh.
It's so brutal. It's such a brutal life to be like a lower level football, like NFL player.
Right.
Because like people don't think about it. It's like, oh, you made it to the show. Hell yeah. And it's like, yeah, but then there's levels to being in the show because most of these guys make it to the show and hell yeah. And then come mid-August, you got the guy, Joey, can you come to the office and bring your iPad, please? And then you know what that means. You know what I mean? That means you're done.
Wow.
And it's so sad, but it's so compelling. And it's like the different reactions and like...
They just got a camera in there? Like...
Oh yeah, no, yeah. It's awkward sometimes. It's different, but so the Jets, I guess, part of the thing is like, okay, we'll do it, but they're not gonna film any of the cuts this year. And I'm like, so what the fuck are we doing then? Like, because usually what they do is they pick out 3 or 4 guys who are characters or who have personalities that are quirky or interesting that would make good television, and they kind of focus on those guys through the 4 weeks or whatever. And sometimes at the beginning you never know, because obviously they're gonna follow Aaron Rodgers around, right? Probably gonna follow Zach Wilson around, even though he's not the starter, but it's a weird situation. Like they're gonna follow the quarterbacks around for that situation. But then usually there'll be a couple guys who are on the bubble that are funny dudes or what, guys that just make good TV,
Right.
and then they get cut, and then that's when the tears start. You're just like, oh man.
Well, that sucks because then they build like a relationship. You become attached to this
Hell
person.
yeah, dude.
Yeah.
And that's like Hard Knocks should go away for like. I forgot to turn the lights on in here. I just realized it's kind of dark. I have to brighten that up. Hard Knocks, it gets me into trouble sometimes with fantasy and betting because I get so attached to these guys that I'm like, I'm going to draft this guy because he's going to be good. And it's like, oh no, because he was on Hard Knocks and his team sucks. You know what I mean? It's just, it's a double-edged sword. But yeah, Jets going on Hard Knocks. That should be interesting. And then the last time we ever have to talk about Dan Snyder, the Washington Commanders have finally sold. Finally, everything's been signed off and it's a done deal. It's been up in the air, even though we've brought this up multiple times over the last couple months. Never was a done deal. It is finally a done deal this week. Sold for $6 billion. To what, after looking into him, it's sold to, you know how we like Stan Kroenke and how he's like the GOAT owner, right? The bizarro world Stan Kroenke has just bought the Commanders, right? And I get it. Anybody but Dan Snyder is a step up.
Right. But
Josh Harris, the man who bought the Washington Commanders, hopefully he changes the name back to the football team. He is also a multi-team owner.
Oh, no.
Right? And you're like, oh, hell yeah, we're going to have another super owner. He owns the Philadelphia 76ers. Maybe the biggest disappointments in basketball for years. Trust the process, all that shit.
Yeah.
And the New Jersey Devils.
Oh, shit.
Another. Now, I mean, they used to just suck, but now, now they have lots of prospects and lots of talent, and they're still shit in the bed.
Yeah.
And he jumps right into owning the Washington. He's like, they're getting all my attention, building this culture back in Washington. And I'm just like, okay. Like, we could have opposite day Stan Kroenke on our hands here of the multi-team owner who just has I guess Devils and Sixers aren't going to be last place. They both were playoff teams last year. But just, always choke jobs.
Can you imagine? Yeah, I own a major league team. Oh, really? Who do you own? 76ers.
The Devils. But yeah, so Josh Harris, thanks for getting Dan Snyder out of there. That guy's a piece of shit.
Hopefully, we wish them well. We wish them well.
Not the Devils. I don't wish them well.
Why not? Timo Meyer's there. We wish them well.
No. Not doing it.
I think Stephon Easton's there too.
UFC.
We wish them well.
We had a UFC fight night this weekend. This was a big one because this is the return to the O2 Arena in London, England, where the infamous UK parlay was won by yours truly. I think that day I bagged like $1,200 off of one parlay, right?
Wow. Yeah.
And yesterday morning I get up and I'm looking at the fight card and I'm like, man, a lot of familiar faces from that original UK parlay on this fight card.
Mm-hmm.
So I talked myself into it and I'm like, you know what? We're going to put some money on the books and we're going ham today, right? So, me, I'm not like a big money spender, big money gambler, but so I mean, I could be.
Right.
If I really let myself be a degenerate in that aspect. But I always when it comes to depositing money, if I don't have any money on my betting books, I will not let myself put any more than $100 at a time in my deposit. Idea. Okay. So Saturday morning, I'm like, you know what? It's going to be a good day. Andy had a friend over, so they'll leave me alone. I can just sit here on the couch and watch this card from the first prelim. And it was in London, so the card started at noon.
Oh, nice.
Or no, 11.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was surprised when you texted me about it.
Right,
yeah.
So it started early, so I was like, shit, I'm not even... And I'm such an old man at the regular timed cards that start at 7. Like, by the time the main events come, and I'm like... You know what I mean? So this was perfect, started at 11, go till like I think it probably went to like 3:30, something like that. Oh my
gosh, yeah.
So it was perfect timing for your boy. I put $100 in. First thing I did was make my 7-fight UK parlay, right? Put 20 on that bad boy, and the payout was like 13 something, right? And I was like, okay. So then I take the rest of my 100 and I start going through the card and like picking out some. I like to, when I make a big parlay like that, Alexis and I kind of talked about it on Fight Night this last week, but
you try to cover it a little bit.
Yeah, so like there was a few fights where and the hedges paid off a little bit, where if you got a big 7-fight, 6-fight, 5-fight parlay, if there's a couple fights in there where you think the person you didn't bet on, like what I like to do is you don't want to just take the money line of that person because it's just a wash then. You want to pick something bigger. So there was like a couple fights where I'm like, okay, if my guy in the parlay doesn't win or my girl doesn't win, their opponent is probably going to win like this. So I like to bet on the outcome of the fight, not just the winner, how it's won, right? So one of my hedges that paid off, because I'm going to tell you guys right up front, the UK parlay didn't hit. But saying that much, one of my fighters, Meatball Molly McCann, who was one of my fighters in the parlay, she was fighting a woman named Julia Stolyarenko, my Lithuanian sister. Julia Stolyarenko, big hype train, but I think 1-4 in the UFC.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Yeah.
Her one win against a big hype train, Jessica Rose Clark from Australia, she caught her in a badass armbar. Julia Stolyarenko is a badass armbar specialist. Molly McCann, her MO is she's going to go out there and throw big punches and box you and try to get you to the ground and pound you. The kryptonite to a overzealous ground and pounder is an armbar, right?
Yeah.
Because they're throwing these big wild arms at you. You just got to snatch them on up.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking, and Alexis called it. He reminded me of that during our show. He was like, "That's a good hedge. That if you got Molly in a parlay, if she loses, she's probably going to lose by armbar. So your hedge bet can be a bet on Stolyarenko to win by armbar or win by submission, right?
Yeah.
So those little things are what kept me alive yesterday, because good grief, dude. The UK did not show up, because on Fight Night, like when you have like a place where the UFC doesn't go all the time,
right,
i.e. London, they go there a couple times a year or whatever.
It's a big deal.
They're in the O2 arena maybe once a year, maybe once every 2 years. You know what I mean? So it's like the people of that country, the fighters that are, because you're going to get a lot of fighters from that area, right? Because the UFC is like, okay, we're here, so you get the fan base.
It would be a big deal for those people, so you think that they'd show up.
So when the UK parlay hit, many moons ago, that's kind of what happened. You had Meatball Molly, you had Patty Pimblett, you had Tom Aspinall, you had what's his name, Paul Craig. You had all these guys that just fucking a lot of them were the more skilled guys and they won, but then some of those fights were won off of the home field advantage. Like that crowd is just like ole, ole, ole. They're just like blah, like Meatball Molly's one of those fighters where she's a good fighter, she's in the UFC, but it's like you get her in the UK and you get her people screaming, like she feels, you could tell like she feels it, and it pushed through, but not this time. Old Julia Stolyarenko armbarred that bitch. And I was just thankful that I put that, because then I texted it to Lexus, because like obviously my parlay was blown,
right? But
I texted him that I took the little hedge bet that he had brought up, and he's like, fuck, he's like, I didn't take it.
Oh no.
And I'm like, okay. So your boy, I put 100, I had 77 cents in my account Saturday morning. I deposited 100. Okay. Throughout the entire, I don't know, it's probably a 13 fight card. I bet I had at least involved in a parlay or a specific bet on every fight. I bet on every fight pretty much. Right? Either like I said, a fight specific bet or that fight was part of a parlay. Bet on every fight, emptied the account down to 77 cents. Right? I put all the money out there. And it was looking real bleak, bud. It was looking real bleak going into the main event, because Molly McCann was that co-main. I mean, it was a heartbreaker, but my parlay had already been busted by then, because these fucking UK guys did not show out. but I hit that Stolyarenko. So, and I look at my account after that. I had $22 in there. I was like, okay, I'm only down, plus my free play. I was like, I'm only down $75. Whatever. This 22, I can put this on the fights next week while we're on the air. It'll be fun, And then Big Tom Aspinall comes out for that main event. And I didn't have any more parlays left because they were blown.
There's just him.
But you know what I had on him? I had a bet and then an accidental copy of the same bet. I hit the button
bet on him
twice. But it was like one for $10 and one for $5. I don't even know how I did that. I must have did it, and then like hours later, like
that's how I hit.
It's like, oh, I got to bet on this, and then like I placed the same bet again or whatever.
That's how I bet on Rich Strike when he won the Kentucky Derby. I bet on him twice, not even realizing it.
And it pays off.
Pays
right?
way off, dude.
So
yeah.
I had $15 basically on Tom Aspinall to win in the first 2 minutes of the fight.
Oh my gosh!
And like the matchup. So Tom Aspinall hasn't fought in a bit because he's been out with a knee injury and just kind of reformatting his whole life. But
was that just like a Hail Mary for you to be like, he'll win in the first 2 minutes?
No, it was educated because that's what he does. He's a quick finisher. Tom Aspinall is a very quick finisher, whether it's submissions or knockouts or whatever. So I was just thinking, when I was placing that bet, I was going for my not the hedge because he was also the winner in my parlay, but I was just kind of like, he's gonna win. How can I make a little more money on him winning?
Sure.
Right? Because I knew he was going to win. No matter what. He wasn't going to lose to Marcin Tybura. I just knew it. Tybura's almost 40, which isn't that old for a heavyweight. But he's just weathered. Tom Aspinall is young. He is basically new age Frank Mir 2.0. He's coming off that injury where he lost the fight because his ACL fucking ripped right in the middle of the fight. So it's like he didn't get beat. His body gave out on him. Just a lot to prove to everybody because he's like number 4, like he's ranked high, right?
Oh, wow,
So he's like, I haven't been out here in a year and a half. I gotta
show
do
everybody
some
what's
shit.
up, yeah.
And so even before the injury, he was out there as a quick finisher, and I'm like watching him in the weigh-ins. He was just bouncing around. I'm like, he's gonna knock this motherfucker out like fast, like because Tybura also is just a guy who's gonna come out there and bang with you real quick,
right?
And he's not a precision striker. Tom Aspinall is a precision striker, so he's going to go out there and just hope Tybura throws these big wide punches, and he's going to jab him and get some quick
shots. Piece him up, dude. Pop, 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 pop.
And good lordy lord, Tom Aspinall came through. He is what we thought he was, and he just demolished him. And like, it was getting sketchy there, dude. I was watching. It's like it was 5 minutes. Click down to 4:30, and then 4:30 click down to 4, and then we're in the 3-minute zone, and I'm like,
please,
we got 45 seconds, and fight over, dude. And I jumped off the couch. Paris had already thought I had lost all my money because I told her, I was like, it's over, and then I didn't even tell her about this bet. That's how I do it, dude. Like, I talk about my bets, I got no problem, and then you guys will see it on the live show if you tune in next week, is that at the beginning of the card, I'll be placing all these bets, but there's some that I won't even bring up because they're long shots and I just don't want anybody to think I actually bet on it. But then they're the ones that always save my ass at the end.
Right.
But I feel like if I talk about it, they're not going to happen. So I'll talk about my parlays and shit because those are the long shots no matter what. Yeah. But like this Tom Aspinall bet, first two, like a finish bet by him. This is like
it's like when you make a wish, you can't tell anybody.
But
about
like
it.
a finish bet by him was like minus 800. Like you didn't even want to bet on it because it was like even the books are like, well, he's gonna finish him.
He's gonna win. It's just when is he gonna do it,
right? And then I saw that they had these props of first 3 minutes, first 2 minutes, and I picked the 2 minute one. I was gonna go 3, but then the odds were like double for 2 minutes.
Oh yeah,
it was like. I think
it looked good. That money looks good.
Yeah,
dude.
It was like 250 for plus 250 for 3 minutes, and it was like plus 450 for 2 minutes. And I was like, we're going 2. Like, you know what I mean? I was just like 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Like, if he's gonna get him out of there, it's gonna be super fast, or it's gonna go into the other rounds.
Then what's the difference, right? So you just go for it.
Right. So I went for the 2. That kicked off. That brought my dude. My phone is always on silent. Somebody put my phone on.
Dude, how embarrassing for you.
Son of a bitch. But that brought my total up, my account back up to $105.77. So your boy is no longer a loser. All right. And if you count the free play that I earned with my bets yesterday, which was like 9 and change, Your boy's up $16 yesterday.
Sheesh.
Big boy gambler right here.
USA.
So that $116 in that account, if you tune in on Saturday, July 29th, which is this coming Saturday, you'll get to see me bet all that money, all that $100, which my son says isn't a lot of money. And I'm like, dude, I don't care how rich you are. $100 is a lot of money.
Dude, are you kidding? And at his age, $100?
His teacher told him that.
What?
Yeah. Can you believe that shit?
Dude, I was happy to get $20 at his. $5. Yeah.
This motherfucker's got a safe in his room, like a little plastic safe where you get to feed the money in. It's full of 20s and hundreds.
Doesn't even care.
Doesn't even give a shit, dude. Everybody gives him 20s and hundreds for his birthdays and his events and shit, and they're just sitting in there. He doesn't even spend it.
Good
but
on him, though.
You know what? Like, he never offers to buy his own shit.
No,
But if, like, because, you know, the world we live in, it's a cashless world now, right? So I rarely ever have cash on me, like, unless it's left over from the, like, what I had to get out of the ATM for the weed store. Or, like, you know, randomly do I have cash on me. So, like, I don't know if you know this, but in the construction industry, like, you know, a lot of contractors and people like that, they'll do cash things and be like, hey, for me, because I'm a subcontractor, you know, I'll be like, they'll give me the shower job. They'll refer me to their customer and be like, hey, that. And I'm like, hey, can you put, you know, $50? You put $100 on that for me, like for the referral. You know what I mean? Sure. Right. So a lot of times during the week, I'll have to go meet somebody and give them $100 cash or give them something like that. And I won't have it. And I won't want to go to the bank and all this stuff. And Andy'd be like, I'll let you borrow it. Like, he's a loan shark, dude. He doesn't want to buy his own shit. He wants to loan me money.
He says, Dad, you got to stay below the VIG.
Yeah. Yeah. He's like, and I'm just like, what percentage rate are we talking about here, dude?
Yeah.
Like, because he's just like, oh, you can borrow it. I'll let you borrow it.
What a good guy, dude.
Fucking guy. What else? Tom Aspinall is definitely the truth. He is everything we thought we were, or he was. I think, honestly, I don't think anybody's beaten Jon Jones. I think maybe might be the most entertaining fight against Jon Jones. So Jon Jones has that fight we talked last week coming up against Stipe in September. Assuming Jon wins that fight, which he will. I definitely, before Jon retires, I would like to see Tom Aspinall fight him, because Tom Aspinall, even though he gets knockouts and he's an accomplished boxer, like, he is Frank Mir 2.0. He is a submission wizard. And in the heavyweight division, that works, because a lot of those big guys aren't as efficient with their jiu-jitsu and things like that. And then also, if you look at Jon's past, the fights he's had the most trouble in, I mean, obviously in the light heavyweight division, but have been Vitor Belfort putting his fucking arm in a armbar and almost breaking his fucking arm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, like, he can get caught in a submission. It's shown in the past. So that's what makes it interesting. If it wasn't for Tom Aspinall's, like, jiu-jitsu prowess, again, it wouldn't be an interesting fight, because Jon's going to walk through him.
Right.
But seeing that Jon won that first heavyweight fight against Rogan with a submission, that ain't happening against Tom Aspinall. You know what I mean? So, like, you're probably going to have to, either it's going to be a stand-up fight, or it'll be a really good ground scramble match. So
exciting.
I'm hoping Tom Aspinall, he's saying he wants to fight Cyril Gane and Sergey Spivak, I believe, are fighting in France here coming up soon, next month. And they're like the number 2 and 3, and then Aspinall's 4. So, like, he's like, I want to fight the winner of that fight, and then I want to fight Jon Jones. So, like, I think Aspinall goes through Cyril Gane and Spivak. So I don't think that's a problem. It always gets sketchy where it's just like you want to tell him, like, no, just wait for the fight. Because what if you lose and then we don't get to see you fight Jon?
Gane's the one with the Godsmack tattoo, right?
Yeah. He's the one that Jon Jones just choked unconscious in like 20 seconds. Yeah. So we definitely don't want to see him fight Jon Jones again. Sergey Spivak, like, he's a talented fighter, but I don't care. He's going to get worked by Jon. And all things being equal, Tom Aspinall's probably going to get worked by Jon too, but his skill set is just the more interesting one to go up against Jon, because he can throw up arm bars and triangles and some crazy submissions from his back. So even if he gets taken down,
he has the
he's not
the tools to be able to at least put up a fight.
I hope that happens. Paul Craig, the Bear Jew, that's his nickname. I'm not being racist. Scotland's pride, dude. That guy just one of my favorite fighters on the roster.
Really?
Obviously, he was part of my successful UK parlay many moons ago. But just another submission guy that just, this guy gets worked over and then chokes somebody out with like seconds left in the fight. Like he's constantly dangerous from his back. He'll let you take him down in a fight just because he's got the upper hand, even if he's on his back, kind of a guy.
Right.
This fight, he dropped down to his first fight at middleweight. He's been a light heavyweight. He's ranked number 9 as a light heavyweight, and then decided to drop down to middleweight. I don't know, maybe he just felt like he can have a strength advantage or something like that. And he fought this guy Moonies, and who's another like big jiu-jitsu guy. And the Bear Jew, like, it was a back and forth fight, but the Bear Jew elbowed this guy's face into oblivion, TKO'd him. It was such a beautiful performance. I love a guy who's got a sense of humor and can call himself the Bear Jew. He paints his face like Braveheart, walking out to the the weigh-ins and shit. Yeah. Hopefully one day me and Alexis will say he'll like castrate himself like on his way to the octagon just to show how tough he is.
Yeah.
And, but the Bear Jew's got elbows. He's got triangles and elbows, dude. He's got triangle with his legs, and then like this triangle right here, and then he puts it on your face. And that's how he won last night. So congratulations, Paul Craig. He was one of my standouts. And then basically the rest of the UK can suck it. Basically, they can all suck it. That's the last time. Canadians, off the list. UK, unless your name's Tom Aspinall or Paul Craig, off the list. Fuck them, dude.
Yeah. They let you down, dude.
Why am I putting my money behind these other, like, I'm only betting American for that?
Yeah,
that's not a good idea. But, so UFC Fight Night. It turned out to be a pretty good card, good little taste tester moving into this next weekend where we got a big giant card coming up.
Exciting.
And we're going to be doing it live. Obviously we'll talk about that a little bit later. Joey, do you have some quickies for us?
I have a couple quickies, dude. I wanted to follow up with our beauty, Daniela Hemsley, who
the Flasher?
Yeah, the Flasher at the end of her boxing. I didn't realize that she was a OnlyFans lady.
Yeah.
And it was like a celebrity.
So you
like an influencer boxer
you
thing.
and I were inadvertently talking about the same event last week without either of us realizing we were talking about it. Because when you brought that up, then I brought up, they're having some kind of influencer boxing event last week. It was the same thing.
Oh, it was the same. I didn't realize that.
So DAZN does. And a few other Misfits boxing is like Logan or Jake Paul's thing is like
he's on DAZN, right?
Yeah, but it's like, I don't know how it all works promotion wise, but yeah, they're doing a lot of influencer boxing cards now where these social media influencers are fighting each other. And yeah, it does. So now that you know she was an OnlyFans chick, is it less cool that she showed her tits?
No. Why?
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, they. What upsets me is that they barred her from boxing now, dude.
But was that real boxing? Was that even sanctioned?
I mean,
do amateur.
I'm just not a fan of like big government stepping in, dude. You know?
Yeah, especially over tits.
Why? Like give the people what they want.
Everyone likes tits.
Yeah.
I don't care what gender, what sexuality. I don't care what you are. Everyone likes tits.
Yeah. And it's upsetting to me that they would do that to
you
her.
Think boxing fans don't like tits?
Shit, dude. I mean, it seems like, who do you think it was a bunch of like old white men that were up there that were just like...
Well, of course, but old white men like tits more than anybody.
But or do you think they're just overcorrecting themselves? They're
of course, they're trying to act like they don't like tits, but they like tits.
But they've watched the video like hundreds of times.
See, they pay for her OnlyFans. They were just pissed because they already saw those tits.
Yeah, no, they were upset because they paid for the subscription and then she just does it for free. Yeah, that's true.
Day old tits.
Yeah.
Those are day old tits, dude. It's like the day old donuts that are way cheaper.
Yeah.
Those are old tits, dude. I saw those tits.
Yeah.
Sorry,
so yeah,
not only did I see those tits, but like Never mind. This is
Yeah, I
a
was gonna say, you're
fucking
gonna get
family
some.
show. God damn it.
But yeah, no, that's just a little upsetting. You know what I mean? It was just kind of,
Yeah.
you know, because it was a fun one time. They could have been like, hey, like, you know, we get it, but like, there's family that watches. You can't do this. You know what I mean? You know, give her a warning at least. Don't freaking bar her after her first.
But that's the thing. It's like you're having OnlyFans models fight each other.
Right.
The reason they're famous is for showing their bodies.
But
for money on the
regardless
internet.
of all that, I think
No, but
just,
not regardless of all that. Like everything is in context, right? So if your reason for barring her and saying that it's such a big deal is that this is a family thing, it's like, well, then she shouldn't be fighting to begin with.
Well, what I would counter that by saying that the people who go out and test positive for drugs or, you know, get DUIs and all that bullshit, yeah, they shouldn't be they shouldn't be fighting either then, if you're going to bar them for doing something stupid like that. It's the same, in my opinion. If you're going to make a mistake one time, right?
Well, it wasn't a mistake.
Okay, if you're going to do something one time that causes trouble for the production or whatever you want to call them, right? Like, talk to the person first. And, like, you know, I think there's got to be steps.
I
you know
think
what
this is our chance.
There's a verbal warning, and then there's the write-up. And then there's a 30-day, you know, or a 3-day suspension, 5 days, and then, you know, pending termination. Yeah, dude, go corporate with it.
I think this is our chance.
Did you just yawn at me, dude?
I think this is our chance to step in and start our own fight promotion.
Yeah.
Called Tits.
Wow. And it's just OnlyFans models.
No, it's just if you win, you got to
show your tits. So, oh wow.
So you'll have people trying to lose out there, maybe. I don't know.
Well, guys are they're already out there,
right?
With
which is a double standard.
Yeah. So no.
If the nips are out, why are you gonna bar a chick from pulling her nips?
Yeah.
out?
So then they're required to wear like a crop top or something.
That's bullshit.
No, we're going to.
But the thing is like, yeah, of course you don't want to fight with your tits out because they're flopping all over the place. It's just another target. You know
I know,
I mean?
but I'm saying
to pull the nips out once the fight's over, like the dudes are just walking around with their nipples out.
Yeah, so let's make them wear a shirt.
Like if you can watch The Biggest Loser and see some giant guy's butt crack as he's climbing up a rope ladder.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But then like a nipple slips and they got to tile it out. Like what's more egregious? A giant ass crack of a middle-aged man or just a nip slip?
Okay, so then what do we do? So if the man's already topless, right? Do we have them show their ass afterwards? Or do we just have them hang brain?
Fight promotion?
Yeah, or do we have them hang brain afterwards?
Oh, yeah, no, just nuts.
Just nuts.
Yeah. You don't have to show your dick. I don't want you to be embarrassed. Not everybody has a big dick.
Yeah, most people.
But it's like nuts are. No one cares if they're small, big, otherwise, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, there's some nut connoisseurs out there probably, but like, I feel like it's less embarrassing for the dudes to show. Tits are like. All tits are cool.
Are we gonna
small tits, big tits, medium tits, saggy tits, fucking the old 70s ones that look like ski slopes? How come those tits don't exist anymore?
You're right. Yeah.
You know,
what happened with that?
If you ever look at like retro,
do you think that was just genetics, or do you think that was like a thing back then?
I think about that all the time, dude. Is like the evolution of tits. Because that's the thing. It's like you look at some retro nudes, and you've got a lot of ski slope titties out there. Wow. Right? You got the pointy nip. It just you know
works.
what I mean?
Yeah.
I haven't seen a modern set of tits that look like ski slopes. I haven't.
Were those natural?
Modern
you think
tits.
those were natty?
Well, of course, but I see natural tits.
Yeah, but I mean, like now, I feel like nowadays it's a little different. You know what I mean? We're taking growth hormones and stuff. You know what I mean?
You think it has to do with the food? They got rid of the no more ski slope tits?
Yeah, they took all the pesticides out, and that's what was doing it.
Okay. I like where you're going.
Yeah, dude.
I like where your head's at.
My other shout out was to one of the greatest to play the game, Messi. Scoring his
I saw that
going out debuting,
Miami, won the game winner.
Yeah, looking good out there.
Celebrities were out there.
And a lot of people were concerned with the fact that they didn't start him. Mm-hmm. It's very common in soccer or football, right? Football that when you have a big player like that who's coming in, you don't start him.
Yeah.
You bring him in during the middle of the game or something very dramatic, right? And it was a very dramatic reception. Everyone, went out there,
crazy. Won the game.
Yeah, dude. And I'm sure he got well compensated for that, dude. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no, we've talked about his exploits and his contracts, but well, congratulations, Messi.
Congratulations.
For not taking that dirty Saudi money, dude. You think the Kardashians would have been at your first game in Saudi Arabia?
Yeah,
right. I doubt it.
That was it for my quickies, man.
All right, man. Let's shout out. The shout out this week is to everybody who is planning on tuning in to the live show on Saturday. We've been building up to this July 29th, UFC 291. Dustin Poirier versus Dustin versus Justin.
Justin Gaethje and Dustin Poirier.
Poirier versus Gaethje 2.
Poirier.
For
Dustin Poirier.
For the Dustin Poirier. For the BMF belt, the bad motherfucker belt. This belt hasn't been shown since the first rendition of it, which was Jorge Masvidal versus Nate Diaz. Jorge Masvidal won that, was strapped up by The Rock.
Which I'm surprised that they're doing it again, because they said it was just a one-time thing, right?
They did, but, it's kind of I think it's just a gimmicky thing at this point. Casuals, just dumb Americans like belts on the line, even though I just want to see the fight because the belt doesn't matter, but this BMF title, I mean, it's cool for these guys who are like, okay, these guys they're not in the title mix. I mean, they're at the top of the rankings, but they're these guys who have had their chances. Yeah. And they've kind of just, Poirier, great fighter, Hall of Famer. Gaethje, great fighter, Hall of Famer.
Hall of Famer?
But Gaethje?
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Just out of sheer violence and just nobody has ever had a fight style like his. Yeah. And it's just, maybe not a Hall of Famer. I don't know.
And he made Tony Ferguson run.
Yeah, I mean, he just... Poirier TKO'd him the first time they fought. TKO'd him in the 4th round. It was a all-time classic fucking fight. Probably going to get another one of those. Somebody's going to go down TKO. Yeah. But it's going to be, as they say, a barn burner. It's going to be a barn burner. The Rock will not be presenting the winner with the belt this time.
Good. I'm so tired of that.
It will be Jorge Masvidal who
passing the torch.
Passing the torch. That's right. Yeah, we're going to be going live on the Peak One Sports YouTube at 7 p.m. when the main card starts.
Alexis will be in the building.
We may get on a little bit early just to kind of work out some kinks and stuff. But as far as we're all going to be in here sitting and watching the whole main card starting at 7.
Are we going to have snacks?
Oh, yeah. I've been debating all week about what the food situation is going to be like, because I was like, well, I'll barbecue, but I'm like, no, I can't barbecue because I got to be on the show. You know what I mean? So then I was like, well, do we cater it? And I'm like, maybe. But then I'm like, do we just force Tim? I need to call Tim to make sure he's not on call, and then just force him to cook for us and serve us.
I was thinking just pizza and wings, but if you want to
force Tim to make us some tri-tip.
Oh, there you go.
And some,
no, we need the salami roll-ups too, dude.
Salami, we're definitely going to have the salami roll-ups. I'll talk to Tim, and maybe we'll get some of get his meat slicer over here and some thin sliced tri-tip. We'll figure it out. We're gonna have.
I want some of that macaroni
chicken
salad
piccata.
Too, dude.
You want to make chicken piccata?
I'm done with chicken piccata, bro.
Yeah, we'll have the pasta salad.
Pasta salad. Sorry, not macaroni.
Not the mac.
Pasta salad.
We'll have the tricolor pasta salad. We'll all have our phones out, and if you guys get in there in the chats, we'll be going back and forth with you. I don't know about Joey, but Alexis and I will be live betting on.
I'm a degenerate as well.
Okay, so we will. It should be interesting because I was thinking about it yesterday, and I'm like, it's going to be good content because I subdue my rage and just overreactions when I'm betting. Like when I'm just watching fights and I don't have any money on it, I just like to sit there and just watch the fights and enjoy it. But when I got money on it, I'm pacing. Yeah. I'm like...
Well, and here's another thing that you're not thinking of, right? I like to talk shit.
So, yeah, tune in 29th and bet live with us if you want. Yeah. Don't lose your house, but you could bet live with us.
Tell us how stupid our bets are.
Yeah, get in that live chat. It's going to be good.
Speaking of bets, check out Betalytics, 25% off using code PEAK1.
Not for the MMA, though, because they don't do it.
They don't do MMA.
Check out, just tune in, and I'll give you my Betalytics.
Yeah, Cole's the Betalytics. Which Betalytics?
If you want to win $5 in real money and $9.73 in free bets because you lost so much, follow my betting strategy.
What do you use to bet?
Yesterday I was using Bovada. I use Bovada or I use MyBookie.
MyBookie.ag.
Yeah. Cool. Either one. Both of them you're going to have to cash out in cryptocurrency if you don't want to pay fines. So get your Cash App wallet set up so you don't have to pay fees for cashing out in American dollars. That's my only tip there.
Tax loopholes with
it's
coal.
a lot. Well, it's not a tax loophole. It's just if you cash it out in currency, like American currency, they just have they have a fee, like a big fee.
Oh wow!
If you cash it out,
I've never had enough to cash out. So.
If you cash out in Bitcoin, it's no fee.
Oh wow!
So you set up your Cash App wallet, your crypto wallet, and you just hook that up to your betting account too. And then when you cash out, you just cash it out in Bitcoin and then immediately sell it. Because if you leave it in there for a couple days,
I was gonna say,
you ever had some crypto? That stuff's like a roller coaster.
Dude, I was gonna say, how funny would it be if they sent it to you, right, in Bitcoin, and it's like at 60,000, right, and then all of a sudden it drops to like 20 grand.
Oh, dude, I had one. It wasn't like a big money amount, but it was probably like, I don't know. Let's say it was a couple $100. By the time like everything processed, and then like I was at work, so like I forgot about it. By the time I got home and took it out of my wallet and turned it into money, I lost like $25.
No shit.
Yeah. So it's if you're gonna do the crypto, if you're gonna do the Bitcoin cash out,
hurry up
immediately. Like put your crypto wallet on push notifications. So as soon as it gets deposited, it boop, boop, pops up and you can
send it over,
transfer it. But all right, everybody,
later, homies.
That's been it. Bye.